Hello and welcome to Thank You Half Hour. My name is Tom Christopher Warren. I'm your host, and today I am so excited to have a relatively new but truly dear friend. We've known each other for about a year and a half. I had the great pleasure of sharing the stage with her, but you probably recognize her as the runner-up to season 3 of American Idol. You know, a few people probably watched that show. And I know her as a Broadway star, singer-songwriter, appeared on Broadway in Hairspray, off-Broadway in Toxic Avenger, leading national tours 9 to 5, Jekyll and Hyde, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Please welcome the brilliant Diana DeGarmo. Hi, friend.
Hi, friends. So great to hear from you. Oh, see, there's my alarm telling me I'm supposed to be getting ready for this Zoom right now. If you need to redo that, you let me know.
Oh, no, I'm good. Listen, we do these things with all the bells and whistles, all the little snafus, hills and valleys. I have screwed up more intros. It's all good. We're people. We are just human beings,
Man,
right?
that was my phone saying, get ready for the Zoom
Sure.
that is happening now.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, because Zoom and technology and the modern world, it just all sort of orbit around me, sometimes connecting, synapses firing, sometimes not.
And, we just keep, and the world goes round, as Liza says.
It does indeed. How are you in your home with that gorgeous wall of guitars? I'm obsessed with your home. I've never even been in it, but I've seen enough pictures that I'm obsessed with your style, your vibe. You're amazing.
Thank you, my little country cottage.
Yeah.
I live this little kind of hybrid. I can lovingly say redneck life out in the woods. We're right at the edge of Nashville where kind of the country meets the city. So we have a little bit of both, but Nashville's growing out towards us real fast, but it's good. It's a great town to be in. I love it. The central location, I can kind of pop up to the city if I need to be in New York quickly, because now we can do things virtually, thank goodness.
That's right.
And then, it's a great place to call home in between. And, we try to lead with love around here, just to remind folks.
That is exactly why you're a dear friend, because you lead with love. I'm actually going to go on record and say, because I've said this, and I'm not exaggerating, more times than I can count, but I'm going to say on record that I've never seen someone lead a company with more grace, more poise, more empathy, more kindness, talent, intelligence than you. And I mean that with zero hyperbole. So Diana and I did a production of Into the Woods here in Columbus together last year in 2023. And it takes a skill, certainly, but also the ability to remove ego and to understand what it means to have the sort of highest footprint, and recognition in the company, and what responsibility that brings. And you came in and you led us with so much joy and grace. It was delightful.
Very kind. I think too kind, but I'll take it. Thank you.
I mean it.
And hey, leading a show with you is a joy. Come on, you're forever my mystery man, my mysterious man.
Oh, you're the greatest witch ever. Just lovely. Just lovely. We had a good time. We laughed a lot.
We did.
And I learned a lot. I mean, I don't know if I plan to talk about this or not, but I don't know if you remember sitting and talking during tech. There's all this downtime and you're sitting and you're chatting while they set the lights. And you told me that during the pandemic, you considered becoming a death doula. You looked into doula work. And I was like, yep, that tracks. There's no one with more grace who could somehow put ego aside and go, yeah, sure, I'll happily escort you over to the other side. What kind of psyche embraces that kind of gift giving? It's just remarkable to me.
You're very kind. I think it's just if you're into the Enneagrams, it's the 2 in me. It's the helper in me. Sometimes maybe the unhealthy helper in me. And I think that's why I'm a performer. I'm like, hello, my honey. Hello, my darling. What can I do for you now? Let me entertain you. It's like that's just been my my life. But I've kind of tried to not make it so people pleasery, as the kids with the trauma words now say.
Sure.
But it's fun. I've always been. I'm a Gemini, so I have constant curiosity and constant. Ooh, what about that? Huh? Which sometimes leads me to not maybe being in the right place at the right time because I have too many interests kind of heading off
Gemini.
at the same time.
Yeah.
But I sure have a fun mind, and maybe one day the doula thing will come back up. I still have, the tab saved on my file and my, my notes that are 900 notes long that who knows if I'll ever go back to that link or that screenshot, but it's still there. And I appreciate you remembering that.
I'd never heard the term before. I had only fairly recently, in the last 5 or 10 years, heard the term doula. I'd known of midwifery, but not a doula. And so you used the term death doula, and I was like, well, what is that? And of course, it makes perfect sense. It's just escorting someone on the other side.
It is. And when, the pandemic was such an interesting moment for so many of us. And when you're kind of politely told what you do is non-essential, even though, yes, I understand. No, I am not
Sure.
saving lives. I did not need to be up front and center in many ways. There were people way more qualified for that. But it kind of, sent my brain on a tilt-a-whirl. And I was like, whoa, how can I be of service to the world if maybe this is no longer an option? Because there was a bit of time where that,
Yeah.
who knew if that was ever going to come back to us?
Sure.
And, I'm a planner. I like to plan, even though we know that that's all frivolous in the scheme of things, but I like to have fun options.
No, the type A in me loves a solid plan, even if we veer from it, right? I like to have that in place.
Exactly.
So I have a confession, and I don't think I've actually told you this. I
Okay.
I have watched very few episodes of Idol, not by choice because I didn't like it at all. I just watched so little TV, and certainly back then watched very little TV, that I didn't know who you were until I seen you in Toxic Avenger off-Broadway. Blew my mind, and read in the bio, obviously, and then also you were then a part of the zeitgeist for me. And I was like, American Idol, but that can't be. She's clearly an actor. I mean, she's obviously a comic. Like, that's with this incredible voice. She just landed on American Idol. And then my mind sort of rewired a little bit and went, oh, she can be a multi-hyphenate. And turns out, is singer, songwriter, performer, country, R&B, actor, comedian, dancer. I'm like, what isn't she? Turns out nothing. You're everything. Did you know?
You're so sweet.
No. Truly just honest. At what point did you realize, because you started as a kid as a singer, yeah?
Yes. I just started as a ham bone. I think that would be the proper term. Or the child you could not put into the corner. I just was like, I wanted to, again, it's the helper in me. I realized, a lot of therapy, I guess, in that time in the break, but realizing that, I just wanted to make people happy. And I found out early on, I kind of had a natural gift for being a little jokey and a little singy. And, I just kind of luckily grew up in a household where like my dad was really influenced by Elvis and growing up in Memphis and that world and like Southern gospel music. And then my mom's side of the family was like, Northern California. So everything from like the 60s. So Hair, of course, was kind of like
Sure.
a no-brainer. I knew all the music of that, Creedence Clearwater, Tina Turner, and, country music, Patsy Cline. So I grew up with a lot of musical influence, but then just thought, oh, this is what you do. You got to do it all. It wasn't until I got a little older that I realized people kind of found more specified gifts that they would follow and kind of train under. So sometimes it serves me well. Sometimes it's like, I don't know. I'm maybe not an expert in that, but I can figure it out. Give me a moment. I grew up dancing and did kind of all of the things that a lot of girls my age and kids my age did at the time. Was like, the ballet class and the jazz. But then it just kind of kept snowballing. And one person be like, hey, can you come do this? And, oh, hey, by the way, can you come do that? And it's been my life as long as I can remember.
I was going to say, you're still that. You're still, hey, can you do, yep. If I can't, I'll figure it out.
Yeah. And which has been a really fun, this next chapter of life that I've kind of stepped into in the last 6 months has been more, a little bit behind the scenes, a little more at the table, and I love it. I love a good spreadsheet and a spec, and give me an Excel spreadsheet, and I will go to town. Give
That's
me a calendar,
hysterical.
and I love it.
So tell me about this new chapter. What are you doing?
So I am production managing for a children's theater here in Nashville called the Theater Bug. I joined their board just after the pandemic. I had been a fan for several years. A fellow actor here in Nashville started the company about 14 years ago. And the mission is to help make empathetic, more compassionate humans and better community through educational theatrical experiences. And I'm like, if I can help with that in any way, shape, or form, then life is great. And so I kind of dipped my toes in when I was on the board and just kind of filled in here and there. And then next thing you know, they were like, "Hey, would you like to maybe get paid for this?" And I said, "What?" And we all know, how much we get to do in
Oh,
nonprofit that is above and beyond what the paycheck is, but
yep.
it still feels so meaningful and worth it. And I roped my husband in, so now we're set designing and building sets and running events and planning galas and helping kids get arts education for free, which is
Wow.
really cool. And just to say, like, I'm a tiny part of the theater bug is such an honor. So it's been fun, but they still give me the flexibility to go and perform.
Yeah.
Granted, it's a little challenging,
Yeah.
as we all know, carrying the several jobs, but
That gig
that's
life.
I don't think I would know how to sit on my hands anyway
Yeah.
if I like randomly fell, granted, if I won the lottery, I could fund a lot of arts education, let's just say
Couldn't we
that,
all?
but I
Yeah.
don't think I could sit on my hands.
So why is it important to you to inspire this next generation of creative human beings?
They're the next lifeline. They are
Mhm.
the ones that are continuing the story. That's how we
Mm.
keep the message of love and positivity and brightness and whatever it is we want to, hopefully positively share on with the next generation. That is continued through, nurturing these young people now and letting them know how to be their best selves so that they can grow and be better adults and
Yeah.
better mentors to the next generation. It's it really is, as I think we all, most of us in the arts feel, it's important to make sure that, humanity is not forgotten. As much as the rest of the world can operate on whatever it needs to operate on, if
Yeah.
we can remain humane and connective, and we do that through storytelling and through proximity and bringing ourselves closer to one another's stories. Because it's real hard to hate on someone up close. So, like, if you can tell a story or bring someone in closer with a good story and a good connection, then we're gonna maybe make a better world. I don't know.
I mean, listen, we're at
That's
this
what we hope
moment.
for.
Yeah, we're for those of you listening in 2025 or 2026 or whatever, we're currently in October of 2024, and we are between two massive hurricanes, and we are less than a month away from a huge election, and the frequency of our world right now is skewed, and that yeah, it's
It is
wild.
prickly. There's a lot in the air.
Ooh, the static is it's wild.
Charged.
And charge, that's exactly right. And what you're doing has less to do with teaching kids to be actors and much more, I assume, with teaching young people to be the best versions of themselves, whatever that leads them to as adults, right? And to do it with empathy. And that's what people take for granted in arts education. Oh, do we really need to train people to be actors? Well, yes, we do, but also we need to train them to be team players and to have adult skills and to be able
Yeah,
to,
time management.
yeah,
Sometimes it's emotional management. Sometimes it's working in groups. There's so many other skills that you learn from a lot of like arts activities that you don't realize can just translate into several different art sectors of the world per se. So
yeah,
it is fun to yes, it is arts education, but it feels just like life education. And I think I equally learn as much from the kiddos and
yeah.
from like our staff and all of our like wonderful donors. It's a good community of people that just want to put something positive out for themselves and the next generation,
How
and
stinking
so on.
cool is that? Oh, I'm so proud of you. I just always
Yay!
proud of you. So, do you, I've never asked you this question. Do you chalk any of this ability up to the fact that you were sort of thrust on the global stage as a, a teenager, right? Weren't you very young on
Yes,
Idol?
I was 16 on
Yeah,
Idol. I can give my mom a lot of credit. There's a good and bad side to it, I guess, in the long run. I
sure,
think
sure.
all kids can say that to some degree, but I know she did. She tried really hard to make sure I understood what I was getting into or what I was giving to the world and what I could give to the world. And I've tried to keep up that standard to an extent and then take my own spin on it. And it's been fun to realize that the arts can touch so many lives in so many different ways. But it's been a part of mine since the beginning, from day one.
I mean, just wild. And how lucky are you to have found a partner who supports all of that and that you support in this? Like the two of you are so, having met Ace when he came to see Into the Woods, I, the two of you are on such a similar frequency and such a dissimilar frequency in the best possible way. You complement each other so magnificently. And it just seems like, do you laugh all the time?
We do.
It looks
And
like it.
sometimes it's the laughing with each other and at each other
Totally.
and rolling our eyes. All of the above.
That's the best though.
It is. I'm so lucky. And like having a great partner in life can just like really make a difference. And
Sure.
they find you in sometimes the most unexpected of ways. I mean, I definitely had no intention of meeting anyone romantically at work, let alone
Yeah.
in a theater. I know what my odds are there. Let's be real. So it was so
Yeah.
far off my game that I think that's why became such great friends. And a couple years later, all of a sudden we were both like, wait, what? Hold on. And because of hair, that is where Ace and I met. Listen, it was my job to preview the goods. I couldn't help it. Like we had to. Thank you, Diane Paulus,
That's
for
right.
literally setting us up.
It's in the text. It was simply dramaturgical research.
Exactly.
So how long are you together now? When was Hair?
Oh golly. So we met. That was in 2010.
Okay.
Right after Toxic Avenger. Yes, actually.
Wow.
And yeah, we got married in 2013. And when he proposed in 2012, I definitely was the last human to know it was happening.
Stop it.
Even though he went on, like, he did the whole big spiel, did it on Idol. I don't know if it was me just being a full, goober, or am I that naive to completely have missed all the signs until he was like on one knee, and I was like, what is happening? What? No. Yeah. 12 years together, 12 years married, and yeah.
15
golly,
together, yeah.
15 together. Crazy.
Listen,
Crazy.
time is a complete construct.
Agreed.
One of my little kids, former little kids, her mother reached out to me recently and said, "Hey, you're in town with the tour. We live here now. Can we come say hi?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." This little girl is 30, works in mental health. She's a mental health professional. She's married. I'm like, "But you're 12. I don't understand. None of this makes sense." It's
Yeah,
wild.
it is. Time goes so fast, and it's funny now. Like, I'm with Idol being, now my time on Idol was officially 20 years ago, which is crazy to say. 2 full decades.
Yeah.
The first decade was wild enough. The second decade, like you said, what is time? It's just, at this point, they're just gonna, like they say, it's gonna get faster, and we'll be at 60 years, and who knows? But yeah, it's so crazy to think like the chapter has kind of come back around, and how many people say, "Oh, my kids are now watching this," and I'm like, your child wasn't even alive. The kids' kids are now having like. Oh! But, I mean, even when we did Into the Woods, my daughter was born the year I was on Miss Madeline. Oh, sweetheart, who played Rapunzel. She's like, I was born the year you were on American Idol. And I'm like, and you're a foot taller than me. Doubly not fair, but it's okay.
Oh, and that voice. Oh, that stunning voice. Yeah, she's still working up a storm here in Columbus, one show after another. It's such a great city here. It really is. We got to get you back. We had you and Ace back to do a stunning gala fundraiser for Short North Stage, which was honestly just extraordinary. And we got to get you back for something else. I don't know. I love having you here.
Thank you. That was so fun. We had a great time. Yes, we loved being back. I loved getting a chance to bring Ace and our music director Dylan into town for the gala. We had such a good time, and so maybe there's something else one day we can get back down.
I hope it was such
down into the garden.
Yeah, it was such a thoughtful, and we talked about this privately too. But you and Ace could easily have done what you do. You could have thrown together an hour of material very easily from your catalog, and you didn't. You very intentionally put together stuff that would be accessible for an audience here, would reference the theater, would reference what you've done with the theater, in addition to your stories. But you made so many personal connections with Columbus within that show, which you did not have to do. And, we've both seen a lot of fundraisers, and they're not always that intentional, as well as just the talent is extraordinary. Like your voices together, just yummy. And those arrangements, Dylan is so flippin' great.
We are so lucky to have him and his crazy brain.
Dude, seriously. Oh, it's great. Just great. How was Little Shop of Horrors? You just closed a production of Little Shop playing Audrey. First time playing Audrey?
Playing Audrey,
Not
and
the last.
hopefully not the last.
No.
It was, oh golly, and with Melinda Doolittle, y'all, playing the plant.
Yep.
Playing the plant. Ben Crawford was our dentist. He was a riot. Like, you would just hear the backstage, all of us just cracking up at him every night. I mean, we had a new friend, this young man named Seth Nathan Green, who had never been in a musical before and led the show as Seymour. And you would have thought he had gone to some conservatory somewhere, had a degree. No, he came from the improv and comedy world.
Wow.
But like, he just had a knack for it and a killer voice. And he's like, you know what? I think I might want to do this. And we're all going, yes.
You should
sir.
do this.
So it was so neat. Yeah, it was the first time I've done a show in a tent in a field in a minute, but welcome to regional theater, y'all.
Yep.
Listen, like, at this day and age, I'm like, bring it on. Give me a weird, unique space.
Yeah.
I want to be challenged. So Hurricane Helene did come for us. Yeah. She sure did. Yeah. And so, unfortunately, in the middle of the run, we just had to literally pack up the entire show and take down the tent and everything. And we paused for just a second, but Mother Nature gave us a reprieve. Sadly, took that elsewhere, but we were able to get back up for the end. And so the run felt, yes, it felt satisfying. It was the gayest, sweetest little shop neon you've ever experienced. We got to do a mega mix at the end.
Come on.
Which, yes,
love it.
We got that approved. And so that's kind of, I think, one of my favorite things about regional theater. As much as I love, like, yes, going to Broadway and seeing the original production or, a reboot of something, like, yes, you're going to get an incredible show, but golly, it takes so much time and effort and to put up those shows. So they want those shows to run forever. And I think that's wonderful. But there is something so special about a little run in a little town and a little stage and a little theater that's only going to be yours. And I eat that up with a spoon. I guess that's the other side of my Gemini. I like the introverted kind of more intimate experiences. Yeah. So it was a great kind of like bite-sized bit of theater that, gets to just live with the people who saw it. And
it's ephemeral. That's what the form is. We forget that in shows like Lion King that run forever and ever. But
yes,
at its core, it's here for a moment, and then it just sort of tissue paper wisps away.
Yeah. And we're so lucky to have shows now that can say they're running long. Like that was so not a norm for so long. But I think we take it for granted, whether it be Phantom or Lion King, like I think in the next few years, there was going to be, obviously, as there is with anything, it's all cyclical, right? Like there will be a change. And I'm curious how many people, which will probably be me, going, I didn't see Lion King, so I need to see it.
You still haven't seen it?
I know. I'm so sorry. I'm one of those people. Listen, my life is weird.
Your life is wonderful. Please. You're a busy lady.
But I will see it, and I want to see you now. So then there's, I have parameters.
I'm back. I'm back full time. So you've got plenty of opportunities somewhere in the country.
I will find you.
Yeah, I will find you. So what do you, tell me what, and I know you get this question all the time, but I'm going to ask it anyway, because you are so intentionally working with young people, what's the advice you have for people who are sort of just at that jumping off point of deciding, do I want to go to college for this? Do I want to spend the rest of my life pursuing this? You've done this in such a young age. What do you say to those people?
If you want to do it badly enough, you'll figure it out. At the end of the day, whether it's, if you want to sing, you can find, if you want to do something badly enough, you can figure it out. And like if you want to, sing in a coffee shop, or if you need to like get into auditions, which I know now auditions like for schools are, we need to start a charity fund just to get kids through college applications.
Truly.
I've heard that is nutty. That's a whole tangent we could go on for another 20 minutes. But don't be afraid to throw your hat into a lot of rings, toss it out there and see what happens, because you just never know, and be open-minded to it all. Because there are so many ways to be within the arts, whether it's, okay, you want to be a performer, sure. There's cruises, there's regional theater, there's Broadway, there's dance. We need teachers. Golly, we always need teachers.
Lord, yeah.
There's that's just more in the performing creative realm. Within that, there's, if you get into tech and all the different lanes that it takes to put up a show, as you know, it takes a village. So it's been fun watching Ace move into technical directing work, which is something he loved. He was always in construction and things like that, right out of high school, and then got right into performing. But he had this kind of base knowledge of carpentry and things like that, and electrical. And who knew that 15 years later, it would be serving him now, and he's doing tech directing, and we're loving it because he loves. Yeah,
Does
loves
his
to
brain
help.
just know how things get built?
He does.
That's so annoying.
It is a special skill.
That's so annoying.
But it's great because he also, as being a performer, he now can troubleshoot things before people even notice it. And he's like, hey, do you need something there? I feel like somebody's going to walk through there and that's going to be a problem. And they're like, nope. And then 2 seconds later, a set piece went there. And we're like, actually,
Yeah.
But I think if anyone wanting to be in the arts, if you're open to learning and being a part of it, and be a part of it for the community, not for just the prestige, then I think you're going to be okay. You'll find your place wherever that might be within whatever your skill set makes your heart sing. If you're open-minded to all of it, you'll land where you're supposed to be.
How lucky are we to do what we love?
Very. A lot of people don't. A lot of people, and I could not imagine having to, granted, now it's not always been
sure
canes and rainbows.
Sure.
There are days where I'm like, okay, maybe this one was not the choice, but we have to do it, and that's just part of being a human, and you have to, I think, figure that out for yourself as you go along.
Yeah. What's next for you? What are you excited about in the future?
I'm excited to be home for a minute, even though that sounds like it's a truth, but I don't know if it is. I do also support Kristen Chenoweth out on the road every now and then when she needs help. So whenever she needs me, I jump out with my dear pal, Miss Melinda Doolittle. She and another friend, Miss Marissa Rosen. You know our Marissa Rosen.
I know and love her. Sarah Gettelfinger is my next guest. In 20 minutes, I'm talking to Sarah. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, it's such a small
Turn
world.
Water for Elephants.
Stunning. That play.
So anyways, I'm doing that with my pals, and then I'll be supporting the Theater Bug, and so I'm designing 3 sets at the moment. And who knew when we met that I would be 2 years later designing sets?
That's
here
fantastic. What shows?
And, they are actually original productions. So we have a student playwright series called The Playground. And so the kids do, at the festival, they each get to write 10-minute plays, and then one play gets to be chosen to be fully produced. And this year, we have a young student the play is called The Sleepover. So I'm doing that one, and also another brand new work here in Nashville called HR, which is going to be kind of an interactive experience. So it's really fun. Like, all these different worlds have come together, and I'm still doing this. So I get to be creative, but also make a really sexy spreadsheet.
I love a sexy spreadsheet. Us type A Gemini's got to stick together. When's your birthday?
June 16th.
That's right. I did know that. May 31st.
That's right. Yes, you're my May boys. I get along really well with the May guys.
Yep, I love
June
Geminis. Oh, it's so good seeing your face. Thank you for carving out the time to sit and talk with me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. I'm so proud of you and your new endeavor, your many endeavors. I get it. I applaud you. I see you.
I know you get it.
Congrats. And I'm excited to see where this will be in just a few years, and we can say, look at us then.
Right? We did year 1. We sat and chatted over Zoom. Bananas. I love you, friend. Love to Ace.
Love you.
Stay in touch.
Same.
We'll talk soon.
Perfect. Mwah.
Mwah. Bye, honey.
Bye.
Thank you, half hour.
Foxland Media. Think big.